everybody, it's me, Stephen Billings, one half of Chasing Labels, and I am here with this video to give you a Blu-ray review. Uh, this Blu-ray review will be on three films that have come from the most recent bundle from Imprint, their October releases, and these are three films that I really highly recommend, and not only the films but the releases. They're really all really good releases from Imprint Films. And yeah, let's just get into them. I'm going to talk about the films a little bit, and then also talk about some of the features and things like that. So first thing I'm going to start off with is a film that I really was blown away by, and it also stars one of my favorite actors, Burt Lancaster, and that is Come Back Little Sheba. This film came out in 1952, and it's directed by Daniel Mann. And Daniel Mann, he's not a director that I'm super familiar with, but looking into his filmography, I realized I had seen one of his films, a film called Willard, which is a horror film about a man who uses rats to get revenge. Uses his pet rats to get revenge on people. And way different film than this film. And this I believe was his directorial debut. And Come Back Little Sheba is a very personal movie. It's a movie about it. Also, let me say, also stars Shirley Booth, who is fantastic as well in this film. It's probably actually, out of the two, they're both great. Shirley Booth probably steals the movie, but Come Back Little Sheba is a film about this married couple who has got a very complicated relationship. Of course, all marriages are, but there's something bubbling underneath. And then one day, this young girl comes to live with them, and kind of rocks the boat, and brings up feelings that are connected to their past that have to do with a child they had, a young child that they lost early on, and it becomes a really deep kind of deconstruction of a marriage, what it means to love somebody. And I just find it to be a really powerful movie, and a really well filmed movie, and beautifully acted, and just one of the movies that is sad, but also for me, assuring by the end of the movie. And yeah, this particular release from Imprint, I believe is maybe the first time it's been out on Blu-ray. So, this particular release does not have a ton of features. It does, it has very minimal features, but I know that's probably hard to see. My lighting's not great in this room. I got to get better lighting. But so it does come with an audio commentary and an archival vintage documentary, which is great. I will say, though, minimal features, that they're great. And the audio commentary was fantastic. I really love Scott Harrison's audio commentary on this. He does a really good job of not only giving you a good background of the making of the movie, but also Burt Lancaster and Shirley Booth, where they were in their careers at this point, and contextualizing all that along with the thematic stuff going on in the film. So I really loved that commentary. It's definitely one I'm going to go back and listen to again. And this is just a high recommend. Also, just with the film. Film's just such a powerful movie, and I think this is a definite pickup for physical media fans. So moving on, another film I really this was another first time watch when I watched the, if you watch the show, we watch a lot of these movies for the show. And so this was one I definitely wanted to pick up after watching it, because I found it to be, though very kind of like straightforward in its, kind of its subject matter. It's deeper when it comes to the themes of the family and the story. And this is a film called Testament. And initially this film was made to be a TV movie. But it was supposed to be a TV movie for PBS, and they were so impressed with the quality of the film that they decided to make it theatrical. So this film is about it's about a scenario, which of course back in the 80s was a big deal, which was, what if a nuclear bomb, dropped in America? And this film decides to take that idea and keep it on a very small scale, where it basically follows one family, a mom who's taking care of her 3 kids, and the challenges of all of that, of course, and then the challenges of dealing with the unknown. The husband is gone. They don't know if he's ever coming back. And then, of course, this town that they live in is all kind of isolated and kind of dealing with the fear of the unknown, and what they're going to do with the future, thinking about what they're going to do with the future. Is there a future? Yeah, it's a very, blunt movie. But it's also a very sincere movie, and it deals in its small moments. It deals with a lot of interesting ideas. The lead actress in the film, Jane Alexander, plays the mother, and she actually got nominated for an Oscar, a leading actress Oscar for this role, and she's just so strong in the film. She just really, it's one of them things where, it's a scenario where it's hard to believe how to deal with it. How do you act for something that is so hard to believe? I don't know. It's just such a sincere role and so natural, and she's just so great in the movie. And there's just so many things she has to go through in the film that she just plays out so well. And it's a movie that has a lot of atmosphere, a lot of tragedy, and it's just so well told. It's good. It's a really great film. The features on this, there's some really great features on this. They got 2 audio commentaries, and you can't really go wrong with either. It just depends on what you're kind of looking for. The first one that they have with Amanda Reyes is very much kind of your typical kind of, it gives you a lot of good context, a lot of good talk about what's going on in each scene and things like that. And then the second commentary is from an author, David J. Moore, from author of World Gone Wild, a survival guide to the post-apocalyptic movie. So he's coming at it from a different angle about, how you survive in an actual world, a hypothetical world, So he's got a little bit different look. So they're both new commentaries, really interesting. And one feature on here that's really cool is, and this is ported over from the DVD of Testament, is the 20th anniversary kind of look back, short documentary looking back at the film from the cast and crew. And so you get, Lucas, I think Lucas Haas is the actor's name. He's an actor that, and people know him when you see his face. And he plays one of the kids in the film, and he comes back, and Jane Alexander and everybody comes back, and it's just a really good look at all the cast, talking about the film and how it impacted them afterwards. And I did mention that this is also, I believe, the first little role that Kevin Costner has in a film. He has a very small part, plays just a man with a family, has a wife and a child, an infant child, and he just has a really heartbreaking scene in the film, and he's so good. And what I loved about that 20th anniversary documentary is that Kevin Costner actually comes back for that documentary to talk about the film. And I've read in interviews that he really loves the movie, and it's really impacted him through his whole career. He just remembers that experience of doing that film. And it just shows you how much this film has staying power, that even one of the Kevin Costner, who became one of the biggest stars in the world and still kind of is, still appreciates this movie a lot. So Testament is another one I really recommend. And yeah, really solid pickup. And so the last one I'm going to talk about from Imprint's October bundle is one that might be I think the best overall release out of the three I'm going to talk about here. Not only because of the film, but the features and everything. Just a lot of good stuff in this release. And that is the film starring Jack Lemmon. That's called Save the Tiger. It's directed by John G. Avildsen, who you would know his name as being attached to some of the biggest movies that were about underdogs that came out in the 70s and 80s, which is, Karate Kid and Rocky. And he's just known for that, later part of his career is known for that type of film. But before Rocky, he had done a slew of films that were very different. I'm not super educated on all of them films. I know one of the big ones was a movie called Joe, and then Save the Tiger was another big highlight of his career before Rocky. But he had done a lot of different types of films that were kind of almost the complete opposite in ways to what he did later. And I'm always really fascinated to look into filmmakers, where they began, where they're in, maybe how they looked at the world before they hit their first big movie. Because a lot of times you see them in a whole different light that way. And Alvison's definitely got a definitely a different style before and after Rocky. And but this film is just such a great film. Jack Lemmon is playing a character that he doesn't typically play. He's usually playing either kind of oddball, likable types, maybe kind of, doofuses of sorts, sometimes, with like The Odd Couple and things like that. But, The Apartment's a character, a film I love that he's in, always very likable guys. But in this film, he's playing kind of a likable, but somebody that's definitely morally doing things questionably, things in the film. A very complicated person. He's a veteran. He's living in a world. It's the 1970s, and he's living in a world where it's not the America he grew up with, and he's very cynical about a lot of things, but he's also very open-minded, and that's what I love about the movie. It's kind of an interesting. He's just such an interesting character, and it's not a movie that's easy to explain necessarily the plot wise, but it's very, very much a character piece about a man who's trying to figure out his place, in this world. And Jack Lemmon's just so fantastic in it. And there are a lot of great features in this disc. Two different commentaries, one with producer Steve Shagan and director John G. Avildsen. I'll never say his name right. So that's, of course, a great one. You get a lot of the inside background things going on in the film with that commentary. A lot more personal, more of a personal touch with that commentary. But the other commentary is really great too, by Daniel Kramer. Not every commentary is created equal. But I think David Kramer does some good commentaries. He's very natural when he's talking about the films. It's not like he's like reading off of a sheet. He's very natural. It's like he knows the movie, and he's just talking to you about it. And so I really enjoyed his commentary. And he also did the interview with one of the actresses of the film, Laura Hayman, who plays the girl that Jack Lemmon gets into a relationship with during the movie, and young hippie girl. And he does an interview with her that's really great too, and she talks about her experiences with Jack Lemmon and how comfortable he made her, and was just a fantastic person to work with. And yeah, and then there's Vintage Interview with Jack Lemmon, and there's a lot of good stuff in here. One of the the other things I love is there's an interview with Lloyd Kaufman. And if you don't know who Lloyd Kaufman is, he's the guy that runs Troma, And Troma films are these very low budget, like no budget, sleazy kind of like, you know, just indie movies. They're just really out there indie movies. And he talks about his relationship with John G. Avildsen. And that's great too. It's a great little interview. And so yeah, Save the Tiger, great film. Really just, I mean, just you can't say a bad word about any three of these films from Imprint. Good, really great releases. And of course, there was other releases from that month that were really good too. But these were three that really stood out to me that I felt like I needed to talk about. And yeah, that's going to be it for this review. I'm sorry for rambling on. I can get rambly. But I hope you take a look at these films and enjoy them. Of course, you can go to Imprint Films, go to that on the internets, and you can pick it up there directly, or you can, of course, go to a lot of great retailers: Orbit DVD, Diabolic DVD, Grindhouse Video. There's a lot of great retailers out there that have imports like this from Australia. So pick them up. I recommend. So thanks, guys. And I'll see you on the next review. And of course, I'll see you on the next episode of Chasing Labels. Thanks, guys.